Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot nanny.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by Vasey Engineering and TWS Technical Welding Services. Another Wednesday night here, ready to do another great show for you. It's going to be probably a bit shorter show tonight, actually. We've only got the one guest as things didn't quite go to plan, but that's all good. One guest is enough on our show, and I might have caught the COVID, so I'll be a bit of in the background tonight, and I'll let my good mate Kins here, who's sitting there laughing at me, you got the COVID, but we'll see how we go. But Kins, mate, how are things with you, brother?
Yeah, been pretty good. Been pretty busy, actually, extremely busy here, there, and everywhere, and commentating all over the place, more so watching the rugby ball going back and forth, up and down the field, doing the Heartland Championship side of things, but always here on a Wednesday. I've been in Hamilton today on my way through. Stopped in the Morrinsall. If you know Morrinsall, I'm a regular that calls into the wagon wheel and get a few nice yummy items for the whānau. And I bumped into one NZ Superstock, Todd Hemingway, who's on his way to Hamilton this morning. And he's all excited, raised some good money a couple of weeks back over at Bay Park. And we know Scott Tennant's already over there. And we got Jack Myers and, of course, Josh Prentice, who are getting ready to head over. And don't forget to catch up with Jace tomorrow night on the Pits TV, catching up with the one and only Frankie Wayman Jr. But no, I've been good, mate. I've been pretty good. I haven't touched wood. Caught the Rona yet. How you coping, though?
Oh, mate, I don't know if I haven't tested yet, but I had my ex over last night for dinner because my son's mum. She's back from Australia for a couple of weeks for the new grandbaby that's just been born. And Brody wanted for dinner, so we had her over, and she said, I feel a bit crook. I said, yeah, you're right, don't worry about it, thinking, who cares, it's nothing serious. And then she messaged this morning, and I woke up feeling like a bit of shit, to be honest. And then she messaged me, goes, I just tested and I've got COVID. I'm like, oh, that'll be why. So, but hey, I'm still going. So last time it was a great weight loss exercise having COVID. So let's pray that it works again, eh?
Yeah, well, hey,
might be able to get the height if I lose enough weight. I get behind the wheel of that 38M tank.
Yeah, hard out, mate. Last time I had the X over, I caught something completely different. I won't go there with that. No, I won't have been stupid.
I don't want to get close enough for that, so carry on.
Aaron Ferguson, how are you, mate? Bevan Gilgore, so Aaron put in a bit of a post here, 65 days till Speedway starts for him. Wade Alden's pretty well broken it down. You would know too, it's getting more daylight in the morning. So that means daylight savings 39 days, green sheets and practice 45, 59 until opening night for him, and 18 Thursdays until we all get up and go, Merry Christmas. Caleb Ashton, Ross Ashbury, Craig L. Almo's watching, Barry Hunter, Henry Robin Ford, Scott Honeybone, Aaron Lewis, mate, how you going, Aaron?
Yeah, good to see him there in the comments. Good to see all of them in the comments, I should say, really. I shouldn't be one-sided. It's great to see everybody turn up each week, and I've finally got everything tuned properly, I think, now too, for people. I've got this new road system, and man, I'm so happy with it. But we normally talk about what's coming up next week, and then we do our show on the weekends and stuff with the season kids, but what meeting are you looking forward to this season, mate? What are you looking forward to? What's a meeting that's standing out for you that you are going to go to that you really you're looking forward to? Besides teams, obviously, because everyone looks forward to that. But what's fun for you this coming up season, mate?
I think it's going to be for me when I head out to Huntly to start commentating the opening night, just to get the smell of the fumes, to be there around the outside the track, catching up with everyone that I've very rarely catch up with over the off season, and just having a Speedway hot dog, but just to catch up with those familiar faces. The opening night of a meeting, and I do know it's going to be the fireworks, so catching up with the thousands of people that rock it up there to be pretty well it. There are the big ones I'm looking forward to heading off to, mate, but I think any meeting I can get to now and I'm going to enjoy, for many reasons, and come up and say hello. That makes it even better. And yeah, that one in particular, the opening night, mate, is always a good one for me. And yourself?
I think for me, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to this season, to be fair. One thing's not actually Speedway related, but I'm actually looking forward to the New Zealand Super Saloons at my own home track at Miani here. So, and I think it's going to be a great event. The saloon class seems to be growing in strides at the moment. So yeah, I think I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a lot of it. I'm really looking forward to the Burt Munro in February. That's why I'm not going to teams. But mate, we're still going to do our teams build up, of course, people, because we can't not do that. That's always a fun time, isn't it, mate? We sit back and talk to all the teams and do the build up for teams palming off, and it just helps build that excitement, and it gets us just as pumped. That might, mate, we'll probably start doing that, and I'll probably start having a few regrets after doing, because I'll be like, oh, hang on, teams, you get that bug and that excitement, and I play that famous song, which I've now tuned it properly into our system. So, yeah, I see today, actually, speaking of teams, Buster's put out a expressions of interest for teams drivers. So they're getting amongst it early, mate, to get those drivers ready and start thinking about whether or not they want a team race. Because I suppose that in itself is a big decision for a driver in the off season, not just getting their car ready to race for next season, but to also, do I want a teams race? It takes its toll on its body. It takes its toll on your gear. It's not an easy decision, I would imagine. Some say it probably is, but I wouldn't imagine when you take everything into account what it involves for those drivers. And they put it on the line for us, the fans, who sit there and sometimes are a bit ungrateful for what we see. But, it's, interesting to see they've put that up already, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's getting prepared already so early in hindsight, because before you know it, sometimes before Christmas is here, you may get the odd early teens race in, whether it is the traditional Huntley one or even some others that are coming up down the line. The other part I'm looking forward to, it's not that often that myself and my wife travel around to Speedway a lot. When we get that opportunity because of our work commitments, we'll tend to head around to some of the local stuff. We may go to the Bay Parks or something local, but we're doing a big trip down with some friends down to Christchurch, and looking forward to being part of the Battle of the Stocks, which I've never been to. So bring March, I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited too. We're going to catch and get the latest what's happening up there at Waikaraka Park in Auckland. I'm excited to see how that development goes on going forward as well. And everyone's seeing quite a bit on social media. But overall, just hanging out to get back trackside and watch a bit of Speedway. Thomas Scott, you were all good. Rob Miller, how you been, mate? It's been a while. Darren Letwood, how you going, Darren? Loz from Oz, always good to have you on board. Kins, you're a bad man in the best way. Yeah, I know.
Because of your comments. But, like you said, Dig, you're looking forward to Waikaraka too. That's something, like I've been talking that up for most of our shows about the excitement we're basically getting a new track, and I'm excited to go there and watch a new meeting. And I think after tonight and talking with Wade, it's just going to get that excitement for me and the blood flowing even more, wanting to get in there and watch a race with all the new developments. And now we're going to hear tonight exactly what's what. Well, we hope to. We'll see what happens. But, mate, it's exciting times, I think, this up-and-coming season, Kins,
Yeah, we're quite privy when we catch up with some of these track promoters and presidents of clubs that give us a heads up what's been going on really behind the scenes with a lot of off-season work, because a lot of these people work just about 12 months of the year around their track. Yeah. Rob Miller, North Island Sidecars at Miani, that will be cool. So we'll catch up with you there, Booker. Bevan Gilgore, Modified Champs. Evening to you, Samantha Kiss. Richard and Trudy. The old COVID clap, Riker Edge. Yeah, good luck to Scotty Tennant. We'll catch up with Scotty while he's over in the UK. Everyone's talking a bit about up-and-coming championships. But as said, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, there's the thinking of modifieds. I haven't seen any posts, mate. I thought we had the inside edge that one Mr. Brad Lane was supposed to be getting married on Monday. And I haven't seen any updates, posts or nothing. So I don't know if that was true or not now. We might have to message him and ask him if he did the right thing and married his lovely wife or partner.
Yeah, there's a few photos on the good old Instagram.
Oh,
his sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it did
Yeah.
happen then. See, I don't do the Instagram. I'm lucky I
Yeah.
do the Facebook, to be fair.
Yeah, the old Insta's been sharing a fair bit. I see Sam's been posting a fair bit. A few of their friends are over there just loving the beautiful climate they currently have over in Rarotonga. Kiki, some big meetings this season, Briscoe F1, various pages of Facebook will be screening all of that. Just a reminder for our rally fans up my area, up and around the Coromandel Peninsula, they get up and go, and good to have it back, actually. And Rally New Zealand brings it all back up here from Friday right through the whole weekend. So, yeah, if you're coming up our way, pop in, take a photo at the LNP bottle and Pyro. Give us a holler.
Bottle, eh?
Yeah, come in that photo.
I actually was going through some stuff on the Temu because I've been buying a bit off the Temu. I don't know why I'm hooked on that. But there was some LNP little caps for your valves on your car. I never bought them to send to you, you know. But I see also, Paul, maybe just remind us that's another great thing that's coming up. The Casa Huntley next Saturday.
Yes, yeah.
That'll be another great event. I think it was good last time. You went to it, Kins, and was outstanding, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant. It was so brilliant to see everyone out there on a dirt track, and I've never seen that before. It was such a fun thing to call and commentate, and I would love to be there doing it because I know it's an early afternoon thing in Huntley, but I've got a Heartland Championship of rugby to commentate, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be brilliant. Go along and check it out. Michael Rose, Byron Brown Dixon, South Island Superstocks champions, street stocks and everything as well. So yeah, you're right, Darren. We better bring Wade in. He's been sitting there nice and patient, chilling out and thinking and listening to us. And oh, here he is. Wade, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Not too bad myself. Just getting over the flu as well, actually.
Oh, that bloody man flu, mate. I tell you what, it's the worst thing around.
See, I don't call it a man flu. I just call it the flu. It's women that labelled it the man flu, and I'm not going to justify that.
Days, it's a bit more than that. Yeah.
How long you had it, mate? 5 days?
5 days, yeah.
Yeah, it sticks around a fair bit. Hey, once again, here to update us on what's been going on and what's been happening up there in Auckland with the track. So what's your actual role with this whole thing?
My role at the moment, I guess my profession is an architect. So I'm the lead consultant on the design for all of the upgrades. A bit of a jack of all trades on this one because we're kind of dealing with a client, which is the city, that doesn't really understand motorsport. And I mean, I think a lot of people will, especially in Auckland, will think that's an understatement. So it's kind of a bit of a dual role of kind of keeping things reasonable, but kind of almost insisting on the bits that we must have. So there's a high degree of trust in that process, which I think is, that's very good. The council are backing it. They've kind of let the stakeholders have their input into this. There's not been too many pushbacks and questions on what the facility must have. I mean, obviously they drew the line at grandstands and all the bells and whistles, but it was kind of more to do with the time frames. I mean, just to consent a grandstand is design and consent, it's 2 to 3 years, right? And then constructing it is just never going to happen in time. So unfortunately, a lot of the spectator areas are going to be pretty much as they were. There is a bit of improvement going on around 2 particular areas, which I think people will notice and appreciate.
Okay, cool, Les. So how did you actually get involved? Do you have a racing background? What's the story there, mate? Just to let some of the viewers kind of give them the insight to you as a former racer, I would say.
Yeah, I guess, well, obviously I'm a Speedway person. Come from a Speedway family. My parents, my father raced. He's only just retired after he stopped the season before this last one, and that was, I believe, 54 straight seasons.
Wow.
He started at Waikaraka in 1971, and I think raced without a break. Mum raced there as well. She was pretty good. I remember seeing her race. That was when they were sharing the car. There used to be so many saloon cars racing at Waikaraka Park. They would have an A grade and a B grade. And I think that was in the old XU1 Tirana. Mum would jump in the B grade races and she'd clean them all up. I don't think the guys liked it too much, so they brought a rule in the next year you couldn't race the same car in two different grades. But I've, as I say, mum and dad been heavily involved. I've sort of run around Waikaraka Park since I was very young. Part of the kind of Speedway kids at that place. So it's an interesting one. I mean, as an architect, you don't ever think you're going to be working on a Speedway. But when kind of work began on a Speedway, I mean, I did some work on Palmerston North for Palmerston North Council.
Yeah.
So all of that new pit area, the bridge coming in and rearranging that was getting involved in their master plan and trying to help them to understand that you didn't have to park everybody down one end. You really only had to look at vertical separation, and then you could keep everyone together and make better use of the site. So,
wow,
the pit space there. I mean, yeah, it was a reasonably long conversation to get a very efficient outcome on that particular project. But I think that one's pretty good. I think the pit space there works really well. Probably could have a few more spaces in it.
Yeah.
But with the kind of constraints on the site, it would have been worse if we didn't introduce that bridge. Okay. But yeah, that's where my involvement in Speedway as sort of professional as a consultant.
Okay. I suppose with Bruce having a hand in both tracks, then it would have been a simple equation and the obvious choice to have a chat with you and kind of get your skills, because you've seen it firsthand develop down in Palmerston North. Well, you don't have to reinvent the bloody wheel. You're just a phone call away, mate. Kind of get your brain of knowledge, your expertise with a few others, and why not just use what he's visibly seen, because it's worked. It had the wow factor when it got released. Everyone just stood on the bridge, checked out the cars. The pits were immaculate. Everything about the place, the whole facility in general. Hence the reason why it has the biggest event there every February. So it's not rocket science, mate, to kind of tap you on the shoulder and come and do a bit of work with us up in Auckland.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really Bruce that got me involved.
Okay.
I think it was more the council. Perhaps they got some positive feedback out of the Palmerston North Council. I mean, it's one of those things, like if you're doing a basketball complex, you can go online and you can download the international basketball facility guidelines, and it will have everything in it with every measurement, what it's made of, how many you need. There's no such thing for Speedway racing. And in fact, for motorsport, you really got to get into the homologated stuff with kart sport and circuit racing. And even then, no one tells you how to design a track. That's kind of, every track's different. Every track has different character. But with Speedway, there was just nothing for anybody to be able to sit down and go, well, we need 1 of those, 4 of them, and 6 of those. So that's really where I got involved with Auckland Council, is trying to help them understand. They were hearing lots of things from lots of different people about what everyone wanted. It was trying to help them understand kind of what they actually needed to be focusing on. So.
Brilliant, mate. Oh, that's a good way to clarify that, how they kind of worked, and kind of puts it into perspective how your age involvement is of this as well. Yeah, you're right, Scott Honeybone, the one and only Lance Jennings. So there you go, pretty well worked it out, and that's a guy that's done massive loads of laps around, especially their track, but the whole blooming country and the Super Saloon, and we got some good memories. There's a lot of pictures popping up of Dad, especially of the recent international series back in the day when he went the 2NZ car on the side. Mate, we're going to share some pictures now that you've sent through to me. Do you want to start with some of that and explain as we go along each one, and just to give us some clarity to the viewers that are watching? So that there, you can see that. Familiarize us.
Symmetry end, is it?
Yeah, symmetry end.
Symmetry end, yeah. You can see sort of overhead there is the main power line coming into Auckland. If you kind of break that, you lose half of South Auckland. So yeah, that's for reference, right? So that's before we started. The if I go back to the beginning and you think about the track at Waikaraka Park, it has been roughly in that shape, the way it was, since about 1970. I don't know for sure whether it was 69 or 70.
Okay.
It used to only be quite a small little donut. And the pits used to be out over the back, and you used to come in this end. This is where the cars came in and on and off a long time ago.
Oh,
And
okay.
it used to be just a little bit of a donut in front of the old Heritage Grandstand that used to be there.
Oh,
And around about 69 or 70, they lengthened it down to where the town bend is now and built the race control. There's sort of old photos of that date to around 70, 71. So that's about when that track ended up in that shape in that location. It had a bit of a, talking of kind of parents and volunteers and club labour, the only upgrade it really had was in the mid-80s, where the back straight was moved out about 1 metre.
okay.
Coming out of Cemetery Bend, there was, I think there was one crash, a modified crash there. I'm talking back early 80s, soon after the modifieds came up. And guys had come up from Christchurch to run this big event. They all went howling into Cemetery Bend on the green flag, and it skinnied up so much coming out of Cemetery Bend in the back straight. There's a bunch of guys wiped out on the wall, and that was the end of their long trip up to Auckland. And so that's when they decided to move that wall out in '85. And since then, it's been as it has been.
Okay.
And there's a couple of kind of quirks on the track that basically, to describe Cemetery Bend, it's what we call the smaller corner. It's got 2 bites to it. It's got a funny, if you talk about modern racing on it now, it's got a sort of quite a tight turn entry, and then there's a sort of a late apex and a second bite at it to get onto the back straight. Town Bend is tight in and long out, which kind of gives the track its D shape. Now, it was always known as a driver's track, and those quirks were put into the track on purpose back in the early 70s. But I kind of was talking to Dad about it a while back, and he was sort of saying back when he started, the old tin tops, the early saloons, the lap record used to be 22 seconds. So you had plenty of time to take 2 bites at a corner.
Yeah.
So it was okay. It was good in those
Yeah.
early days, and really good. And it had its long back straight, and you had to hit the brakes and get in the tight. It was all of that stuff.
Okay.
And sort of in recent years, you see those kind of little quirks of the track is where people drive over the pole line, because you're going a bit faster now, right? You're setting into the corners and standing on it. You've got so much more mechanical traction than you ever had. And then you drive, and your car kind of follows that line where you set it to. And we see it all the time coming out of Cemetery Bend. There's a dusty patch there where guys are going 1 metre over the pole line coming out of that corner. And it's because you don't have time to have 2 bites at that corner anymore.
Okay.
The other part of it was really tight coming out of Town Bend. It went from 16 metres down to 11 metres wide as you went past the on gate. And then it was skinny down the front straight.
Yeah.
And it was about 11.5 metres going into Cemetery Bend. And it used to be wider than that, but that's where the stock cars used to always hit it, and they just kept pouring more wall and more wall and more wall in front of it. So it was always tight getting into Cemetery Bend, to the point now with the kind of the faster cars and the faster gear, even the winged cars. If you didn't get that set into a pass going into Cemetery Bend, if you weren't going in on the outside, you'd be going around another lap before you had a chance to make that pass. So the track had kind of, still a great stock car track, brilliant stock car track, because of some of those quirks, and the local guys know where they are. But because of some of the tightness on it, we kind of knew that we needed to do something about that. So and also the track's very flat.
Okay.
So that's where we are now. If you go back to that previous one, I'll just use that as a reference point, right?
Okay.
Just another photo. You can see in that there's kind of a little terrace seating around the edge and a footpath.
Yes.
Okay, keep your eyes on that, and then look at where the wall is, the top of the wall.
Oh, wow. I see now.
So this is now where we're coming into Cemetery Bend. We've taken about 3 meters, or at least 3 meters out of the turn entry. The pole line is about where it was, but just some of those little quirks where you had the 2 bites and where people were running over the pole line. It's only taken about a half a meter here and there, just pulling it out in a place and just pushing it back in another, just to take that quirk out of the bottom. But we've really widened up the front straight. That's got about, depending where you are on the straight, sort of between 2 or 3 meters extra width. And what you're seeing there, the concrete in the foreground, that is the footing for the wall. The footing for the wall is about the height of the top of the old wall.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see it. There's another photo later where you actually see the remnants of that old terraced seating, and you can see the footing sitting next to it. So we've put about in Cemetery Bend, it's about 1.5 meters of elevation in the banking.
Yeah.
Being the shorter corner, and in Town Bend we're about 1.3. But we can see that later as well. But you can see there the pole line. These are quite recent. These photos, these ones here are from Friday. I've got a couple more in the set which I took this morning when I was out there.
All right.
But that's the pole line being prepped down the bottom, that kind of sandy ring. And there you can sort of see the mesh being laid out there for the footing as it's being poured.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's the comparison shot for that last photo. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's a huge difference.
The whole toe of that embankment's gone. And the track's got a lot
look at that,
closer.
Kinser.
Holy hell.
Oh, what do we say? Holy snap and duck shit. Hey.
Holy.
And it gets a bit closer to the grandstand as well. I mean, we're about 6 meters back from the front of the grandstand, but front row seats are going to be trackside this time.
That's awesome.
That's really close. Holy hell.
So I guess with just tidying up some of those bits, it's not a massive, it's still nowhere near as wide as Bay Park. We're still about 13.5 meters on the straights. That's not bad. I mean, when you start to think about some of the New Zealand tracks, hover around between 10 and 12. Bay Park obviously is 18. It's a big track. It's a much faster track.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a real little bull ring. But yeah, so the front straights had a lot of work. What else have we got there? Okay, now that's looking back across Cemetery Bend. So with that extra width, we've opened it up. And you can kind of see there's the timber on the left-hand side, the remnants of that.
Yeah, that seating.
It's a seating, yeah.
And that's the footing for the wall. So the wall hasn't been poured yet. That'll start going in on Friday. That goes on top. And then you can see the pole line down the bottom. And if you really look closely, there's new drainage sumps going in there. So there's all new drainage around Cemetery Bend. So the Cemetery Bend used to be 11 meters going in. At its widest point, it was about 14 meters. So now it's 16.5 all the way around. So Cemetery Bend is quite a bit different than it used to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite quick, isn't it?
I think I'm quite keen on watching some winged cars on this. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
I think they'll wind themselves up. It's going to be good for any class really, where we're getting into high degrees of mechanical or aerodynamic traction and momentum driving. But it's not so wide that it's going to upset stock cars or super stocks or any of the contact classes or street stocks. They're not going to get lost on this track.
Okay.
If you're brave enough to go around the outside in a super stock, you're still going to get nailed.
Yeah.
And the same thing. This is where we used to be, right? So it was a reasonable release coming out of Cemetery Bend, but you can kind of see the pole line. If you either get guys kind of drifting off the pole line, squeezing guys out on the outside. So we've just touched that in a little bit, just to get that run off the bottom. You can stay on the bottom. So if you're ripping hard around the top, you're not going to have someone drift up in front of you. And we've given them an extra bit of width there. We've widened up that straight by about 1.5 meters.
Wow.
But there should be a shot there somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
This is Town Bend this morning.
Oh, okay.
So the interesting thing about Town Bend at Waikaraka is that the bottom used to always have about 3 degrees.
Yes.
And then it went crowned in the middle and went flat out to the wall, or even in some places it went downhill to the wall. If you got outside that sort of mid track, you were definitely in the marbles and holding on, because the next stop was the wall as it skinnied up.
You did see that a lot, didn't you? Way people getting sort of sucked out to the wall.
Oh,
for that instance, and that now what you've said, that I never knew that what you've just said, so that sort of made sense to me now, is why some of them used to get sucked out to the wall there.
It was very hard to pull off an outside pass around Town Bend. You had to kind of make the pass going into Town Bend, and then drive in quite close and keep the other guy down. There was always a shortcut off Town Bend, so if you're on the bottom, you kind of always had the advantage there. The reason why the track used to crown in the middle and offered a little bit of camber down the bottom there was because right underneath this whole site is solid basalt. It's actually the last big lava flow off Mangakiki, One Tree Hill. So the cemetery behind us and the Waikaraka Park itself are the natural ground on top of this big basalt lava flow. All the old historical photos, all the old aerial photos, it's sort of this sort of finger of land that comes out, and everything else around it now has been landfilled in. But this is the natural ground, and right under the centre of Town Bend is where the basalt comes up. There's a lump under there, which is why the track goes over it and then crowns out to the wall. Yeah. So in that middle there's only about 300 mils of dirt over the basalt, just in that little crown bit.
Yeah.
But what we've done in Town Bend as well is it's the same thing as where the top of the old wall used to be, is where the footing for the new wall is. So that camber that was at the bottom now comes out to the middle and then pitches up. So we're sort of 3 degrees, 5 degrees, and then we get to about 10 degrees at the top.
Wow. Shit, this is a history lesson at the same time.
It's good, isn't it? I could see. I'm watching the comments, and everybody tuned in. People are really interested in this. They're really listening in and taking it in, because how often do we get to see and hear about the stage like this of a new development? I mean, I've been going on about this track for the last 6 months, how excited I've been on the show about this development, and it's good. So let's carry on. I mean, it's getting me even more pumped seeing this, thinking how excited I'm going to be to see like the likes of Brad Lane go around this track. I mean, holy heck, you saw him on it before. Yeah. It's going to be out the gate. Oh, look at that. There it is.
And this is kind of coming off Town Bend, right? So it's kind of hard to make out the elevation change, right? So we've moved the on gate down, basically by the club rooms, just because if we had it in the same place it used to be, because we've lifted that track up nearly a meter. At that point, you would never anything that wasn't a self-starting car, you would never push it up and onto the track. So we've moved the on gate down to where we can start to come off the banking.
So is there an off gate? Because there's always 2 gates at this track. So there's 2, or is it gone to 1?
No, there's 2.
Okay.
Both gates are wider and bigger.
Okay.
So we've got at least sort of, I think, 3.8 meters clear once the gate is open. They used to be a bit skinny, and guys catch a rear tire trying to get out on the track. The off gate is at the end of back straight now. So you can come off there, and that's easy. You can come off the top of the banking and just roll down the ramp if you're coming off.
Yeah.
And that basically makes the whole pit system a one-way system.
That'd be good for going in between races too, wouldn't it? Because you'd be able to bring the other race on as the other ones are going off at the same time a lot easier, wouldn't you?
Well, we used to do that, yeah. But of course, where the off gate used to be, you'd have a queue of cars coming out while sort of basically hitting the dummy grid, trying to get on the track, and it was congestion. And also, walking around the building and stuff, if you're trying to nurture an open pit policy and get fans engaged and all that stuff, you want it to be really sensible. You want to know, the cars are coming off way over there and they're going to drive this direction only, and the cars are going on over here, and everything in the middle is safe. So that's kind of what we've tried to do here to keep those pits. I can talk a little bit about the pits, but they're basically going to be the same as Palmerston North in terms of their spec.
I think you can sort of see the elevation there, though, Wade. You said you couldn't, because if you look at, I'm pointing at the screen. No one can see me pointing at the screen, but if you look at that inside corner there, and you work your way up to how high they are from that, so there how low that is in comparison to when you go to the Ute, you can actually see it elevate its way up, can't you? Yeah. You move that along, because move that to your. So people, and you can sort of see it. So it's going to be a nice. Yeah. Looks like a nice banking to, nice and smooth flow through there.
Well, it is. It offers the opportunity in terms of where we're putting the subgrade in. That's all going to be pretty hard packed clay as a subgrade, and it's going to be mixed with lime, so it's going to be very stable under there. And then there's going to be the racing surface on top. That will allow, rather than having a kind of a hard fill or an immovable object underneath the racing surface, and that works, right? You've seen tracks have put in drift tracks underneath the dirt. You could easily tar seal this thing. It'd be a pretty absurd idea, but you could have tar sealed the whole track, put dirt on it for the summer, and taken the dirt off and run asphalt Speedway in the winter. But I think we'd be pushing our luck with the neighbours. But having that stabilised clay subbase means you can run a straight banking, straight line from pole line to wall, or you could run progressive. We're really not going to know how this track's going to race. We think all the ingredients are there, but like any new track, it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out whether progressive works, or whether we let the guys drive the track up to the wall and form a push, or how it works. We just wanted to make sure we had enough room to play with between top and bottom, and we had enough width to carry momentum and speed in on the outside going into the corners, and to be able to get off the corners. So I think it still has that kind of quirk that it's very easy to get the set squares and compasses out and draw a nice regular half circle corner and a nice straight line for straights. But there's no, it's my personal view, there's not a great deal of character in tracks like that. And when you start looking around some of the great tracks, particularly in America, your Kokomo's and your places like that, which are, Kokomo's half the size of this, and it's not a regular shape, yet it races really, really well. Keeping some character in this was kind of important. So that's kind of what we've tried to do here.
Yeah, quite intrigued me with the US incorporated when you're talking down the back straight and the exit going down in the pits, and they come on the other side onto the main. It was like automatically I thought, it's got that kind of American talk about it.
Well, the shoot would have been easy. It would have been super good to do, but you can't, of course, because the street stocks go the other way.
Oh, exactly.
And you create a head-on collision. So we still have to have gates, but it's trying to achieve that same kind of outcome. Yeah. It's a little bit awkward getting off, but I think it's wide enough that it'll be okay.
What were you going to say, Books?
I was just going to say, it's also, when Wade said, it's still going to be unknown to them how it's going to be as a races track, and they take a bit of getting used to. I think people need to remember that too. Like, so when that first meeting happens, it's all unknown for everybody, the drivers, the track prep guys, everybody, it's unknown. So if you do go to those first 2-3 meetings, you've got to expect a bit of trial and error, so to speak, with how they prep it, how they do it, because it's all new for everybody. You just got to, don't go and say, oh, what a waste of time that was, or if it doesn't come right, because you don't know. And I think, looking at just these pictures so far and what you're telling us, Wade, I think the potential and what we're seeing here, it's going to clearly become one of the better tracks in New Zealand, easily.
Well, I think if you look at all the great tracks in New Zealand, and there are a ton of great tracks, particularly in the South Island, and then the old favourites in the North Island as well. we've tended to have, apart from Blenheim and Bay Park, we've tended to have quite, and I can list a few now, of course, Cromwell. We've tended to have quite skinny flat tracks.
Yeah.
That's done quite well for quite a long time. But I think now that we're starting to see a lot more than we probably have in the past, drivers from all different codes, especially the kids coming through in mini stocks and quarter midgets and some of the young teenagers and TQs and stuff. We've got some pretty good young drivers in these classes, and they're stepping into the next level. It's watching kind of the cream rise to the top and then go to America and race.
Yeah.
And it's trip 2, trip 3 before they can dial into a track that has banking. Maybe I'm being unkind. It might take a little bit, but being confronted with this sort of track, and being able to kind of gauge where you throw a slide job, where the banking's going to catch you, how you drive the top, and when it gets gut slick, where you run that wheel up against the wall when you need to. We haven't really had a track that has given the younger drivers coming through the same amount of time and years. I mean, we're already behind the 8 ball with the guys in the States, running 30, 40 shows. You try and beat them on their own stuff. It's hard.
Yeah.
We had a few guys get close, but it'll be interesting, I think, when the internationals come down, because they might dial into this pretty quick.
Yeah. It's going to fall right into what they used to. Be interesting to see Brad fly around the outside. You're right, Kane. Looking at this new development, I reckon we should see Mr. Fox come out of retirement, do a modified race. Even Mr. Vasey would be good to jump into Superstock and run a few laps to ride.
You might see Jennings as well.
You reckon?
We could have an old school night, you reckon? Bring back the old school, eh? I reckon.
I snuck him in the other day. I told him to turn up with some steel cap boots, and I gave him a high vis and a helmet. And I took him in as he came in as a consultant. Snuck him in, and he had a bit of a wander around. He was pretty impressed with what was going on. So I think it'll be wonderful to have like a Legends night and get like Skinny Colson's and when he's feeling better, and
Bertram.
some of the Bertram's, Foxy's just retired, he can come back.
Yeah.
Well, if you did that, mate, I tell you what, it'd be one of the biggest shows. It'll be
just to give them a skid, on the new track. I think that'd be quite keen.
You imagine if you brought back all those retro liveries they were. Well, here I go. Now, let's just work on getting them back on the track first.
You're getting us overexcited, kids, of something that might not happen.
Just to reminisce on the good ideas. There's some good comments coming in here. Well done. It's looking really good. Terry Smith's just excited. These upgrades invigorate the modified class with their side-by-side racing. Mate, it's in Auckland, Henry. That's where it is. Amazing. Let's go, Dave Thomas. Who else we got in here? Oh, the seating at Cemetery Bend. So how was the seating? That comment popped in there from Byron. What's going to happen there, mate?
Well, Cemetery Bend is probably not going to have a lot of seating.
Okay.
It was particularly with, council, and I think where the sport is going. We've seen Speedway New Zealand do some internal work on safety fences and risk assessments and these sorts of things. Cemetery Bend always had some favourite spots to sit on, but when you start to think about seating on the corners, especially when this track opened, the guys are going to be coming in here pretty quick.
Okay.
It's probably there's not a lot of room, and we are putting in better seating areas on the back straight and on the hills, the corners.
Okay.
But just right across the middles, probably it'll be one row, perhaps. It'll be more of a walkway than seating now.
Totally understand that. Entry from the main road into the pits, will that actually move after this development?
The existing entry is going to remain. That effectively is going to end up being the emergency services dedicated entry. So if we, heaven forbid, you need to get an ambulance in or an ambulance out, that gate will be for that. It'll be for servicing midweek for track pit, but the new pit area, because it goes out onto outside the stone wall, out on the where the old public car park down by the trees was, there's actually a signalised intersection now with lights coming in, turns up to the cemetery. So the actual road into the pits, you can stack, if you've got 3 or 4, like we have in Nielsen Street now, you'll often have 5 or 6 utes and trailers or trucks parked on Nielsen Street trying to turn across traffic, trying to get into the pits. Now we can just stack them on the slip road down to towards the cemetery, and you can just drive them in. That.
I like these other comments. Even get Pops Lane back out there. You're right. Willie Noonan
all the
back
names
out.
are coming out, Kins. I tell you, we started something.
Yeah, Willie Noonan and the pink TNS back in the day. Right, it will be one of the biggest nights in Speedway up there in Auckland when you check that out. And where are we looking at there, mate? Is that going down the back straight?
That's turn 2, looking back down towards Town Bend. So you can, it's at that angle, you can't quite see the transition off the top of the banker. You can kind of see the footing start to slope down, but there's a couple of better photos that show it across the corner, which kind of you can start to imagine what the shape of the turn will look like.
Where's all those grandstands gone? Hey, what's happened to those?
They're going back in.
There we go. Are the little hot dog places still up the top on the corners?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all he's worried about is bloody hot dogs, eh?
There's the old toilet block down there. I see it.
That's all getting completely refurbished, right? So
okay.
That's all brand new in there, and we're going to have, I think, there's 10 female toilets and 12 proper urinals and pans and everything, fully accessible, all brand new.
Nice.
So, and the seating, the grandstand that comes across that back straight, the reason it's down at the moment is the top of the bank is sort of up and down, and it's no good for walking on. Plus, it's not level. So we're just going to top the bank so we've got a nice flat area to walk on, and then set the seats up.
Oh, I see.
So they're on proper concrete foundations. So that we can just add in the future, we can add more rows of seats to the back of it as we go forward. So it'll be the similar capacity on opening night that it was, but it's just going to be that whole sort of back straight into this corner through here will be kind of much more tidy than it used to be.
Okay. So just in relative to what you said earlier on in the show, Wade, for some of these viewers who have just popped in here, a lot of them going, yippee, I hate those toilets. So you guys can have that. So so the picture we see now with the wall that's currently sitting there, mate, that is the height of the old wall, but there is going to be more added to what we see here, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just the footing, right?
Yeah,
so
the footing.
The slip fall machine's gone around. It's basically done, it finished today, so it's done 2 days, the whole track.
Okay.
So that's a 300 high concrete footing. It'll come back, change the form, and it'll come back around and pour the 1200 high wall on top of that. So all of those starter bars go up through the wall, and when the machine is pouring the concrete for the wall, it's pulling high tensile wire strands through it as well. So we've got all of that Rio coming up, and then we've got all the strands going through horizontally as they pour the wall through there. But in the corners, the top of that footing the footing is basically where the top of the old wall was in the corner.
Yeah.
It does swing back down on the straights. So we do have about 3 degrees of camber across the whole straight. So it's not right dead there. Flat across there.
Yeah.
Looking across it from here, it's hard to see. There's another couple of photos where we just look actually straight across the corner, and you can see that transition.
Wow.
You really see it swing down. That's Town Bend. So you can kind of see that the thickness of all of that material is actually the lift that it's coming up, and that's just to put the base course in underneath the footing. And then the road, the amount of material there is just so that the slip fall machine can travel around. It's all laser guided. It's pretty cool thing.
Wow. Is that the new big screen? Is it for the replays? I don't know. Is it?
That's the old big screen. It's just parked there for the moment. That's going to go up on a new steel structure, so all the containers are gone. There's a new public address system going in, so new speakers, so we'll have good vision, good sound. There's a whole, you guys are like this, there's a whole fiber backbone network going all the way through everything, back to the screen, back to the clubhouse. So on-site broadcast is just plug and play. Yeah, there's a lot of work going on, and a lot of that stuff is actually being done by the club. It's outside of the council kind of project.
Yeah.
And those are our new lights.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to give some light, isn't it?
What the hell? Are you planning to have a concert or some bloody thing there?
Well, we've got it. This was all done. These lights come out of the Netherlands. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the North Shore Hockey Centre, which is sort of the top international standard hockey centre now in the country. It's one of the better ones in the world. They did all the lighting on that, which is, super slow-mo broadcast, all the rest of it. These ones will deliver 500 lux, an average of 500 lux around the whole track, the whole surface. And it's got a uniformity of 2:1. So there's no dark patches, light patches. I know camera technology these days is pretty good. It can overcome quite a lot. But having that uniformity at 2:1 means you could run super slow-mo, super slow motion replays off this lighting system.
What?
Yeah, it's going to be
mate. Cool. I think you're going to phone ET to come over looking at that bloody stuff, eh?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
They do it all. They model it. We give them all of the files. The silly thing when you think of, not the silly thing, the kind of the nice thing, is that the track originally was kind of hand drawn, which is kind of why it still has that character to it. But then the implementation, everything is digital. So the slipform machine is running off laser guidance and GPS. It's running off a digital file that we've given them, which has the elevation change, the corners, everything, and it just follows that line. There's enough digital information that I was quite keen to try and find someone who was into sim racing and just fire it to them, because there's pretty much a model made. We could go racing on it now. But with the lighting, they modeled it in the Netherlands, and all of those lights are all specifically aimed in the factory. So when they bring it down, each lighting tower is different because it's doing a different part of the track with different angles. They're quite amazing looking things, but we haven't got the power plugged into them yet. We're going to fire them up kind of late September.
Holy hell! What else we got here? There we go.
Oh yeah, so that's and sort of that's the new retaining wall around Town Bend. So it's obviously it has to be higher. We don't even have the track wall on there yet. So, but it's doing everything in kind of durable materials. So we kind of it's a do it once, do it properly. Yeah. Everything we're kind of touching, even the infrastructure going in. We've got a new high voltage line coming into the site, new transformer, 500 kVA transformer. So there's enough capacity in that transformer to fuel a grandstand and fuel future development. All of that backbone infrastructure, all of the kind of the retaining walls, the pathways, the light poles, all of the fiber network, all of that stuff. A lot of stuff will be unseen because most of it's in the ground. It's really only the track and things like retaining walls and the pits and light poles is what you're going to see when we turn up. But there's a hell of a lot of work going on into all of the backbone infrastructure, so we can just continue to add to this over time.
Yeah, just talking around with some of these this is obviously the inside on where the public's at, but like Scott Honeybow put in a comment here, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with the Ocean View Speedway. They've embedded the safety lights into the walls. Is this going to be something that's going to follow that trend with the later update of this track, or? No,
we haven't done anything like that. We've kind of got the old red, orange, green system. I know the club had red light LEDs and things. Then they may reinstate that stuff.
Oh, cool. Now,
yeah, that one probably shows it a little better. The kind of the swing down onto the straight.
You can see it down there. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of got your 1.5 meters. That banking goes all the way around. So it's you kind of you're not coming off the banking before you're actually lined up to come off the straight, right? Otherwise, you just slip off the bottom of the banking into the wall. So it does come all the way around and feed onto the straight. But you can kind of see on the bottom there, just we've tidied up the radius on the pole line. That's where it used to kick out a little bit, and if you tried to gas up coming around that corner, you'd push up the track. So this should at least let the bottom cars run off the bottom and stay kind of mid-track to bottom, and let the guys on the top come off the banking. Yeah.
What do we got next? Where are we up there? Oh.
And that's
Oh no, sorry.
The lights, Kins. There you go. Just look at that.
Well, that's coming into Cemetery Bend, right? So you can see the track rise up at the end of the straight there, and you can see.
Oh yes.
But you can see it there, right? You can see that transition up, and that banking steepens up a little bit earlier on turn entry, both ends. So if you're kind of right up on the wall, you can turn it into the banking. You're not trying to chase the banking halfway around the corner before you pick up the support in the track. You can kind of rip into that.
What else photos have you sent me, mate? That's it. That's the rugby one you don't want down. That's pretty well it, eh?
It is. I mean, I could have shown you photos of the pits, but at the moment it just looks like a big mess of loose metal. It's not much to show, but it will end up looking like, it's the same spec as Palmerston North. So the same lighting, concrete to park your cars on near level, asphalt to circulate, grass to park the trucks on.
He's a name from the past, mate. They race many laps here, Murray Vincent, eh? He reckons the money must have been coming in from all the fines he used to get up there back in the days. Murray Vincent, that's a good one. Going to be a great track. Sprint cars will love it there. Rocket Lane, he's going to be wicked. Like Booker says, out wide, holy hecker. Justin Hutchby, how you go, mate? Everyone's just amazed by Byron Brown-Dixon. So I suppose the biggest, drainage. How's the drainage going in from Dave Thomas, mate? How's that working?
Yeah, it's good. We've got, there used to be one drainage point on the track because it runs downhill. So Cemetery Bend's lower by about 400 to 500 millimeters than Town Bend. So there used to be one drainage point, pretty much where that photo is going into Cemetery Bend, which was no good. I think the pipe ran uphill, and I think it had been broken that many times. Which whenever we got a heavy rain event, you get a pond going into a big one, and it end up soft down there. We've put 4 or 5 big cesspits all the way around Cemetery Bend, and big 150 pipes with falls out the top. So the pole line marker is kind of got half a meter of concrete that sits in before it kicks up on the curb, and then another half a meter, which forms the pole line. And because we've got the camber on the straights and camber on the corners, when it rains, the water will come down to that pole line, and then the gradient of the track down to Cemetery Bend will feed water down to the big drainage system at that end.
Wow.
You don't need massive drains everywhere. It kind of you set the track and seal the top of it, the water tends to run off. It's when it ponds, it becomes a problem.
Okay. So a couple of last questions before we wrap it up, because this might be the last time we do catch up, mate, because everyone wants to see the pits and everything else that's developing over this brief that you've given to us in the last 45 minutes or so. Is everything on target? Is everything at the moment? I know we're going through our winter period. Hopefully spring daylight savings brings some good temperature for the work development to progress. Are you on target? Is everything looking?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you've been honest with that. I'm
That's
glad.
a quick answer, wasn't it? No.
Yeah. No.
We're not far behind. We're not
Okay.
actually far behind. We're running about 2 weeks behind program at the moment. Which, considering, up at Go Media, which is at the other end of Nielsen Street, Mount Smart Stadium.
Yeah.
They've actually got a rain gauge up there, and they they are counting over a metre of rain since, over 1,000 millimetres of rain since middle of March.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of rain, like unseasonably amount of rain. We're out of the ground now. That really wasn't great when you're trying to do a big earthworks project. But we lost time at the beginning. But the contractor is actually pretty good. They've been making time up.
Okay.
As I say, we're 2 weeks. I think if we got a reasonable run for weather, I think they'd make that time back. But yeah, I mean, just with the amount of rain we've had, to be within 2 weeks of programs, doing pretty well, pretty good.
Steve Palmer, well done to everyone involved. Looks badass. Can't wait. Mike Pugh, your dad is going to make a comeback, mate. Trust me. It's Mike Pugh saying, yeah. Wow. You're right. Yeah, I remember the back of the day, Dave Thomas and the head jetboat racing.
Yeah, I went to
in the
that.
middle.
I went to
Did
that
ya?
meeting. Yeah, when they sealed up the pit gates and put all the water in the jet boats, I was there for that. Yeah. I was actually living in Auckland then. So, yeah, it was a hard case. I think it wrecked the track though, didn't it? Wreck everything there as well, after they.
Probably.
Yeah, it wasn't, but hey, it was something different. It certainly was, it was pretty cool actually. Good night. It was a good night and afternoon entertainment.
Definitely, and when you take a look at those images that you've shared with us, Wade, and thank you for sharing those with us and all the viewers that have watched, because I'll tell you what, like Wayne Nodden said, everyone's earned themselves a bloody beer and a few after this project. It really has given the insight of the development of what happens behind the scenes. Thank you also for your input too, because you've also shared a lot of history around some of the things not many viewers who watch the show would realize what was back there and what was actually and exactly underneath the actual track, and the connection that it has from many years gone by. And I tell you what, that's quite important, especially for people to know, and just the way you used your words and how you work out where different were and different quirky bits and blah, blah. I was like, holy hell, that was a very educational little piece of show tonight. I really enjoyed that. It was like, no wonder Dad was good back in his day and you were out there ripping up stuff. It was like, you bloody knew the track inside and outside. It's like, holy hell.
It's where I learned to drive in a Mark II Escort.
Yeah.
I was a bit too young to be able to learn how to drive.
Jamie, hey, Jamie, well, good, Jamie, mate, I tell you what, you're out there on this track. You're going to love it. There you go. There's a challenge for you, Jamie. Get behind the wheel and do it. Bring back Birdie, bring back everyone else up there from back in the days, and be bloody good. I tell you something, Jamie, what's his name? Noonan's coming back, mate. He's going to give you a challenge. Willie Noonan's coming back. He just rung me. Willie said, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, Murray Gorge has messaged me too. He's coming back too, Jamie, so bring it on. Skinny Colson's coming back. Oh, hell, here we go.
Kids are starting the rumours now. Everyone will go, we heard it on Kokpit last night.
Skinny's back. Holy hell. Oh, even Dean Waddell just messaged on back. No. There we go. Oh, TC. What? What the hell, Tony?
I think we should stop him right there. What do you reckon, Wade, before he gets too carried away?
Yeah, look. I'm happy to show and talk about the history of the old track and talk about what we're trying to achieve. I mean, you can't keep everybody happy.
No.
We certainly didn't want to compromise on it. I think with everything going in the political background, there was a general feeling that if we could have one thing, it would be the racetrack, right? If we can capture people's imagination, if we can get kind of the drivers, and particularly, there's water to go under the bridge in Auckland and all of that sort of stuff, but it's those younger drivers who are coming through. You want to see what some of these kids are going to be doing in 5-6 years on that track. This is the kind of where we were thinking about it. It's still got some character. It's still got the same old character as Waikaraka Park always had. It's probably had a couple of the wrinkles ironed out of it, and it's probably got the bones there to hold it together for another 20, 25 years. And that's kind of the best we could probably do.
All right, mate. Look, we'll keep in touch with each other and I get you back on, because I'll tell you what, it's been well worth having you on the show. I do thank you, Wade, for coming to join Booker and I to be part of sharing what's been happening behind the scenes. And I know you'll make 2 weeks up. We just got to remain positive. And the best thing is, viewers out there, I tell you what, when you hear the official opening of this track, please get along and support them, because there is a lot of people who have put a lot of work into this. And when you think of the club itself and the people behind the scene, there's a lot of history in this as well. So
yeah, get the backside, trackside, eh, mate?
hard out, you know.
It'll probably smell like wet paint.
Yeah, well, hey, yeah. Oh, chair. Yeah, okay, Blondie. Okay, Blondie, I'll see you there, mate. Blondie Chamberlain. Nah, just joking. Ken renamed the control tower to Jennings Tower. Brilliant work. Yeah, everyone, with all the wonderful comments and the positive comments around this as well, because just so happy to have these pictures to have Wade here to explain it all, mate.
These two things, Kins, around there, eh?
Oh, mate, need sprint cars and the modifieds.
Hey.
It's like, yeah. Yeah. Mate, get Dad back out there. I tell you what, I'll be buying a front row bloody seat. Shit.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I as I say, I mean, there's a few of them, few of the old legends that have recently retired, and I'm sure they kind of have a look at the new track and go, well, you know, one more skin. I think that would be good.
Why not? You know, because they've been an integral part of over the up the All Stars from the Kim Ferguson, Jamie Ferguson. Yeah, cool, Les. And they've done extremely well over the years gone by. Mate, thank you. We better let you go. You got to drive home and get into that lovely traffic that you love in Auckland. And we will catch up again. We'll keep in touch and do another update sometime real soon, eh?
Yep, all good. No problem.
Thanks, Wade. We appreciate it.
Wade.
Okay, see you later.
See you later, mate. Wade Jennings there, one of many that's working behind the scenes. And I'll tell you what, if you caught the start of that, you would have heard a bit about his brief, obviously, racing, dad's racing. Mum kicked ass back in the day in the race car. And he also had a bit of a hand in with the development of Palmerston North as well. But to give you the big insight update, thank you to Wade with the photos, you kind of get an insight now where things are. And it's been quite a pleasure to bring that through to you on the show. It's been awesome, Books, and I've enjoyed tonight.
It has, mate. It was very informative, and if you're not pumped up, there's something wrong with you, to be honest, because I'm even more pumped about this now, even after seeing all that and seeing those pictures, because I hadn't seen them because you obviously had them. Yeah. And it's just I'm just excited, mate. It's going to be great. And you know what? I mean, they talk about bank tracks and stuff like that, and I think it's great. I mean, I watched them on the bank track at Gizzy, the stock cars and super stocks, and they're flying. So I'm excited to see. We know the open wheel stuff's going to be out the gate exciting on that new track, mate. If you just look at the banking, you look at the corners, you look at what they've done, you look at what Wade talked about, you know the open wheel stuff is going to be out the gate good, you know? And then you get a bit cautious when it comes to bank tracks about your contact classes. But when you see them on a bank track like at Gizzy, they're still exciting, and there's still that hitting, there's still that, you know, contact. You don't see it as much, I suppose, at Bay Park, but that's probably because it's so wide, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, mate. It's just, yeah, I mean, shit, the information we've had the last two shows. I mean, last week was awesome, or the other week with Vasey and Lala talking about the concussion thing. And now this with Wade is just we're getting a bit too informative on our show, mate. We might have to have a show where we just go all stupid to make it.
Man, I could make that happen.
Engaged, mate. Yeah, I know you can. The engagement of tonight's show for that. So it shows how excited the Speedway community is for this new track. And I think opening night and even Teams Nationals this year, everyone's just going to be like, I've got to go, you know. Dirt Cup, yeah. Mate, I'm just pumped after that. Wade's just got me even more pumped and excited, mate. Seriously, it's just so cool. Can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait, mate.
I'll tell you what, we might have to talk to Wade off camera and see if we can get up there for the opening and do a bit of a live show, direct and live from the opening up there.
A few people and have some fun with it. Yeah, you're right.
We'll have some fun and give credit back to them. You know, let's have a fun show and do something with it and make it happen. And I heard him mention a bit of sim stuff as well. But we look forward to it. Look, thank you for all the wonderful comments. Terry Smith, we've had a hell of a good show. Teams Nats is going to be awesome. It's good to see money back into Speedo's looking great. So anyway, enjoy. We've got a few more different shows coming up on Wednesday, but we will endeavour to keep in touch with Wade Jennings. Otherwise, take care, everyone. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you back next Wednesday, 7:30. See ya.
Thank you, everyone. See ya.
Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot now.